My girlfriend told me I think too highly of myself, then left me for a rich guy. 29, male. Need to get this off my chest because I'm still processing what just happened. I've been with my girlfriend Cindy, 27, female, for 3 years, and she just ended things in the most brutal way possible. Some background. I'm an electrician apprentice at a small electrical company here in Columbus, Ohio. The pay's decent, not amazing, but I'm not struggling either. For the past year and a half, I've been saving every extra dollar to start my own electrical business. Side jobs, overtime, whatever I could get. I bought tools, got my licenses, started building a client list. My plan was to have my own shop doing residential electrical work, repairs, installations, maintenance, the whole deal. Cindy works as a hostess at Morton's Steakhouse downtown. It's one of those places where the cheapest thing on the menu is like $50. Her job puts her around successful people all day, business owners, doctors, lawyers, the guy who owns half the car dealerships in the city. I never thought much about it until about 6 months ago. That's when things started changing. We'd be out with her friends and suddenly she'd get vague about what I do. Oh, he works in electrical instead of just saying I'm an electrician. One time her friend asked if I own my own company and Cindy jumped in with "not yet, he's still figuring things out" before I could answer. Like I was some kid playing pretend. The comments got worse. I'd come home excited about landing a side job, rewiring someone's garage or installing a new panel, and she'd say things like, "That's nice, honey," in this tone that made it clear she didn't think it was nice at all. When I finally bought a used work truck last month, 2015 Ford F-150, nothing fancy but it's mine and it's paid for, she asked why I was wasting money on a truck when I could be saving for our future. Our future. That's what she called it when she wanted something. But my business, that was me being unrealistic. 3 weeks ago I worked a double, my regular shift plus a night job installing ceiling fans at a new construction site. I got home at midnight exhausted. She was staying over at my place that night and she was still up when I got back. She asked if this was really what I wanted to do with my life. I said, yeah, I'm building something. She said, you need to be more realistic. Nobody gets rich fixing electrical outlets. I told her it's not about getting rich, it's about being my own boss and doing good work. She just shook her head and said, you don't even see it, do you? You think you're going to be this big success story, but you're just a guy with a truck and some tools. That hurt. But I thought we'd work through it. Last week, everything came crashing down. Cindy had been staying late at work a lot, inventory or helping close or whatever excuse. I didn't think much of it because I trusted her. Then her roommate, she shares an apartment with 2 other girls, called me. Apparently Cindy had been bringing someone home when the roommates weren't there. The roommate came home early one day and saw them. She felt terrible and thought I should know. I confronted Cindy that night. She didn't even try to deny it, just said, yeah, I've been seeing someone. His name is Mark. He's 42 and he owns 4 car dealerships. He knows what he wants in life. I asked how long it had been going on. She said 2 months. 2 months of lying to my face every single day. Then she said the thing that's been replaying in my head nonstop. I can't do this anymore, Simon. I don't want to spend my life with an electrician who thinks he's going to build an empire out of a toolbox. I need to be with someone who knows their worth. You think too highly of yourself considering where you actually are. We broke up that night. She moved in with Mark right the day after, just like that. 3 years together and she was gone in less than a day. I've been a zombie this week. Going to work, coming home to an empty apartment, staring at the ceiling. I don't even know what to feel. Angry, sad, humiliated. The worst part is I keep wondering if she's right. Am I delusional? Is my business idea stupid? Should I have just been happy with my job and not tried for more? I don't know, Reddit. I just needed to write this out. Thanks for listening. Edit, a lot of you are saying I dodged a bullet, and honestly, that's starting to sink in. Also, someone asked what my business plan actually is. It's residential and light commercial electrical work. Ohio has a huge market for it because so many houses here are old and need updated wiring. I've already got 15 regular clients from side jobs. The demand is definitely there. Update 1. Posted 3 months later, hey Reddit. I'm the guy whose girlfriend left him for a rich car dealer because I was just an electrician. I wasn't planning to update, but some wild stuff has happened, and I figured you all earned the follow-up since you really helped me through that first week. So those first few days after Cindy left were rough. I'm not gonna lie and act like I was fine. I wasn't. But I still went to work every day, still took the side jobs, still answered my phone when people called about electrical work. Because even though my personal life was in the toilet, I wasn't about to let my business dream die because some girl decided I wasn't good enough. About a week after she left, I did something that felt both terrifying and liberating. I bought the truck. Not the one I mentioned before, I already had that. I bought a second truck, a 2018 Chevy Silverado 2500. It's a work truck, had 60K miles on it, and it was everything I'd been saving for. I had been putting it off because Cindy kept saying we should save for our future, aka her dream wedding. But screw it, right? I had the money, I had the need. I bought the truck. That truck became my mobile office. I got magnetic signs made, Simon's Electrical, residential and commercial, licensed and insured with my number. Looked professional as hell. I started parking it at job sites and at my apartment complex. Within 3 days, I got 2 calls from people who saw it. The business started picking up. Nothing crazy, just steady. I was working my regular job during the day and doing side jobs at night and on weekends. It was exhausting, but it felt good. Like I was building something real, you know. Then in week 3, I got a call from this older lady, Mrs. Chen, who lives about 20 minutes from me. Her whole house lost power and she was freaking out because it was going to be 90 degrees that day, and she has a cat. The other electrical companies she called either couldn't come for 3 days or wanted to charge her $500 just for the emergency visit. I went over there on my lunch break. Turned out a squirrel had chewed through some wires in her attic. Fixed it in 45 minutes. When I told her the bill was $120, she almost cried. Said the other places quoted her $800+. Here's where it gets interesting. Mrs. Chen has a grandson who's like 19 and apparently he's into TikTok. The kid filmed me explaining to his grandma what happened and how to prevent it next time. He posted it with a caption like, "This guy fixed my grandma's power for $120 when everyone else wanted $800, faith in humanity restored," or something like that. The video blew up locally, like 400K views in Columbus area alone. My phone started ringing off the hook. People wanting quotes, asking if I did commercial work, requesting estimates. I had to start keeping a spreadsheet just to track all the inquiries. Within 2 weeks, I had so much work I literally couldn't do it all myself. I hired my buddy Bob, who's also an electrician but was sick of his boss. Then I hired another guy, Alex, who was working for this company that was treating him like garbage. Fast forward to now, 3 months since Cindy left, and Simon's Electrical is a real thing. Like an actual registered LLC with 3 employees, including me. A schedule booked out 3 weeks, and we just landed a contract to do all the electrical maintenance for 2 apartment complexes in Dublin. My income has tripled. I'm not rich by any means, but I'm making more than I ever did as just an apprentice, and the trajectory is insane. I moved into a better apartment last week. My workshop is my second bedroom now, full of tools and supplies. I'm not gonna lie, there are moments when I think about Cindy. Wonder if she knows how things worked out. Wonder if she regrets it. But mostly, I'm just grateful. If she hadn't left, I probably would have kept putting off my business. Kept playing it safe. Kept making myself smaller to make her feel bigger. Now for the part you're all probably curious about. Yes, I know what happened with Cindy and Mark. Mutual friends filled me in even though I didn't ask. Apparently, Mark got tired of her after about 8 months. Rumors vary, but the consistent story is that she didn't fit his lifestyle, and she wasn't invited to important events with his business partners. He moved on to dating another hostess from the same restaurant. Cindy moved back in with her parents. I don't feel good about that, but I don't feel bad either. It's just information. Oh, and remember how she said I think too highly of myself considering where I actually am. Bob made that into a joke slogan for our company. We have a whiteboard in the workshop that says Simon's Electrical, thinking too highly of ourselves since 2023. Makes me laugh every time I see it. So yeah, life is weird. 3 months ago, I was in the worst place I'd ever been. Now I'm running a business that's actually succeeding, living in a better place, hanging out with people who respect what I do. To everyone who commented on my original post telling me to keep going, you were right. Thank you. Edit. Someone asked if I'm dating anyone. No, not yet. Honestly, haven't even thought about it. Too focused on the business and getting my life sorted out. Maybe eventually. Update 2. Posted 2 years, 1 month after original post. Long time, Reddit. I know it's been a while. Life got busy in a good way. But something happened last weekend that made me think of you all and figure you'd earn the closure update. First, quick status check on where things are now. Simon's Electrical is up to 7 employees. We moved from my apartment workshop into an actual commercial space about a year ago, 1,200 square feet with a shop, office area, and parking for all our trucks. We've got contracts with 4 apartment complexes now. We do commercial work for 3 different property management companies, and residential is still going strong. Revenue last year was just over $900K. After expenses and payroll, I'm taking home about $150K, which is freaking insane compared to the $45K I was making as an apprentice. I bought a house 6 months ago. Nothing fancy, 3-bedroom ranch in Hilliard, but it's mine. I'm dating someone. Life is good. Like genuinely, surprisingly good. Okay, so last Saturday, my buddy from trade school, Carlos, opened a Tesla showroom. Big deal for him. He started as a mechanic and now owns a dealership. He invited me to the grand opening event. Free food, open bar, checking out the cars, supporting a friend. Why not? I showed up around 7 p.m. Wore actual nice clothes, dark jeans, button-down shirt, sport coat. Cleaned up pretty well if I do say so myself. I drove my new truck, 2024 Silverado, crew cab loaded. It's my daily driver now, and yeah, I'm proud of it. The event was packed. Carlos introduced me to a bunch of people, told them how I wired his entire showroom, which I did. It was a sweet contract. People were asking about my business, handing me cards, talking about projects. I was in my element. Then I see the bartender, and I realized it's Cindy. She was wearing all black, serving drinks at one of the 3 bars they'd set up. I almost didn't recognize her. She's thinner, looks tired. Hair's different, but it was definitely her. She saw me at the same time. I watched her face go through about 5 different emotions in 2 seconds. Shock, confusion, something that might have been shame. Then she put on a smile and looked back down at the drinks she was pouring. I wasn't planning to talk to her. I was there for Carlos, not to dredge up old drama. But as I was getting another drink about an hour later, I ended up at her bar. There wasn't really a way to avoid it without being obvious. Simon, she said, not a question, just my name. Cindy, hey. Awkward silence while she poured my whiskey. Her hands were shaking a little. You look good, she said, really good. Thanks, you too. A lie, but what else do you say? I heard about your business, saw some stuff on Facebook. Of course she did. I post occasionally. I didn't block her when we broke up. Didn't see the point. Yeah, it's going well, I said. She glanced around, making sure her manager wasn't watching. Can we talk after this? I get off at 10. I should have said no, but I was curious, so I said maybe. I'll see if I'm still here. I stayed. Don't ask me why. Maybe I wanted to hear what she had to say. Maybe I wanted her to see what she'd walked away from. Maybe I'm an idiot, probably that last one. At 10:15, she found me outside near my truck. I was talking to a potential client about rewiring his restaurant, so she hung back. When we finished and the guy left, she walked over. Is that your truck? She asked. Yeah, it's nice, really nice. It does the job. She looked down. Simon, I owe you an apology for how things ended, for what I said to you. I was so wrong. I'd imagined this moment 100 times in the first 6 months after we broke up. What I'd say, how I'd feel, whether I'd be angry or smug or indifferent. But standing there, actually hearing her apologize, I just felt tired. Okay, I said. Apology noted. That's it. What do you want me to say, Cindy? She looked like she might cry. I don't know, everything fell apart after Mark. I thought I was trading up, but I was just trading one thing for another. He didn't actually care about me. He just wanted someone pretty on his arm for events. When I wasn't useful anymore, he dropped me. I'm sorry that happened to you. Are you? Yeah, actually, I am. She looked surprised. I've been working these catering jobs for almost a year now. Bartending, serving, whatever pays. I've got credit card debt that's eating me alive. I'm living with 2 roommates in a shit apartment in Franklinton. My car's breaking down, everything's just, she gestured vaguely, everything's hard. I'm sorry, I said again, and I meant it. Not in a good, you deserve it way, just in a that sucks and I wouldn't wish it on anyone way. I miss what we had, she said quietly. I miss having someone who actually gave a damn about me, someone who was a good person. That's when alarm bells started going off in my head. This wasn't just an apology, this was a pitch. Cindy, just hear me out. I know I messed up, I know I hurt you, but we were good together once, weren't we? And you're doing so well now and I'm happy for you, I really am. Maybe we could just talk, get coffee sometime. I don't think that's a good idea. Please, Simon, I'm not asking for us to get back together, I need someone to talk to, someone who knew me before everything went wrong. I was about to respond when my phone buzzed. Text from Stella. Hope the event is going well. I'm home now, so don't keep me waiting too long, okay? Love you, Stella, my girlfriend of 8 months. Stella, who's an HVAC technician and runs her own company. Stella, who gets excited when I talk about work because she actually understands what I do. Stella, who doesn't care that I sometimes come home covered in drywall dust. Stella, who's smart and funny and kind and sees me as an equal. I showed Cindy my phone screen not to be cruel, just to make the point clear. I'm seeing someone, I said. I'm happy. I hope you find happiness too, but I'm not the person who can give it to you. Cindy's face crumpled. Of course you are. Of course you found someone. You always land on your feet. That's not true, and you know it. You saw me at my lowest. You were there when I was struggling. The difference is I kept working. I kept showing up. I didn't wait for someone to save me. So this is my fault. Everything that happened to me is my fault. I didn't say that, but you made choices, Cindy. So did I. We're living with those choices. I started to get in my truck. She grabbed my arm. Wait, can I at least have your number? Just to talk sometimes. I looked at her hand on my arm. She let go. I don't think that's a good idea, I said. But I genuinely hope things get better for you. Take care of yourself, Cindy. I drove home to Stella, told her what happened. She listened, gave me a hug, said that must have been hard, and then made me some late-night snack. That's it. That's the update. No dramatic confrontation. No big revenge moment. Just a sad conversation in a parking lot and the realization that sometimes the best revenge is just living well. Edit. Someone asked about Stella. We met at a Home Depot about 8 months ago. We were both looking at the same drill set and started talking shop. She asked me out first. Best decision I ever made was saying yes. Final update. Posted 5 days later. Alright Reddit, this is the last chapter. Promise. So a few days after that Tesla showroom encounter, Cindy texted me. Yes, she somehow got my number. I'm 90% sure she asked Carlos for it. He swears he didn't give it to her, but she probably worked her magic somehow. She was always good at getting information out of people. The text came in Tuesday morning while I was at a job site. Please, Simon, give me 1 hour just to talk. I need closure. The diner we used to go to, Thursday at noon. Stella saw me reading it. She asked. Yeah, she wants to meet. You going to? I thought about it. I think I need to, just to make it crystal clear that door is closed. Stella nodded. Want me to come? I'll sit at another table and glare at her the whole time. I laughed. No, but I appreciate the offer. I'll be fine. So Thursday at noon, I drove to Miller's Diner. It's this hole-in-the-wall place, Cindy, and I used to eat it probably twice a week when we were together. Cheap, good food, and they know how to make a proper breakfast any time of day. I hadn't been back since the breakup. Walking in felt weird, like stepping into a memory. Same cracked red vinyl booths. Same smell of coffee and bacon grease. Same bored waitress who'd probably been working there since 1987. Cindy was already there in our old booth in the back corner. She dressed up. Nice jeans, blouse, makeup done, hair styled. She was trying. I slid into the booth across from her. Hey, thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. Almost didn't. The waitress came over. We both ordered coffee. Cindy ordered a salad. I ordered the patty melt because screw it, I was hungry. You still get that here, Cindy said with a small smile. You always ordered the patty melt. Still good, I said. Awkward silence. I let it sit. She asked for this meeting, she could start the conversation. I've been thinking a lot since Saturday, she finally said. About us, about what I threw away. Simon, I made a mistake, the biggest mistake of my life. Okay. I'm not just saying that, I mean it. I was shallow and stupid and I got dazzled by money and status and I lost sight of what actually matters. Which is a good man, someone who treats me well, someone who has integrity and works hard and actually gives a damn. Our coffee arrived. I took a sip. It was shit coffee, same as it always was. Cindy, why did you want to meet? Because I think we could try again. I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't sound crazy. It sounds desperate, she flinched. That's not fair, isn't it? You ran into me at an event where I was clearly doing well. Suddenly you want to talk, you miss me, you made a mistake. But here's the question, if I was still that struggling apprentice, would you be sitting here? She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. That's not a fair question. It's a completely fair question. You left me because I wasn't successful enough for you. Now I'm successful and you want back in. That's not love, Cindy, that's opportunism. People make mistakes, Simon, but we had 3 years together. Don't I deserve a second chance? Maybe you do, but not with me. Her eyes got shiny with tears. Why not? We were good together once. Were we? Because I remember being with someone who was ashamed of what I did for a living. Someone who made me feel small every time I talked about my dreams. Someone who left me for a guy with more money and then came crawling back when that didn't work out. I've changed. Have you? Or are you just in a bad spot and looking for a life preserver? The food came. My patty melt looked perfect. Cindy didn't touch her salad. She wiped her eyes. So that's it. You've completely moved on. You feel nothing. I thought about that. Really thought about it. I don't hate you if that's what you're asking. I don't wish bad things for you, but I also don't have any desire to be in your life. You're a chapter that's closed. But I'm trying to tell you that I see you now, the real you, and I'm impressed. You built something amazing. And there it was, the thing I needed her to hear. Here's what you don't get, Cindy. You say you see me now, but you're not seeing me. You're seeing my success. You're seeing the business and the trucks and the house and thinking, oh, I was wrong about him. But I'm the same person I was 2 years ago, same guy with the same dreams and the same work ethic. The only thing that changed is external circumstances. I didn't become a different person. I just became a successful version of who I always was. I took a bite of my patty melt, gave her a moment to process. The question isn't whether you see me now. The question is, do you want me or do you want the version of me I had to become after you left? She stared at me, didn't answer, because we both knew the answer. I pulled out my wallet and put cash on the table, enough to cover both meals and a decent tip, stood up. I hope you figure out what you actually want in life, Cindy. I hope you find someone who makes you happy and who you can actually appreciate for who they are, not what they have. But that person isn't me, not anymore. Simon, please take care of yourself. I walked out, got in my truck, drove back to the job site where Alex was waiting with questions about a tricky wiring situation. Spent the rest of the day doing what I love, solving problems, building things, making customers happy. That night Stella came over with Thai food and we watched some dumb action movie on the couch. Perfect evening. And that's where I'm leaving this story, because there's really nothing else to say. Cindy texted a few more times over the next couple days. I didn't respond. She eventually stopped. I heard through mutual friends that she's moving to Indianapolis to live with a cousin and start over. I hope that works out for her. Really. As for me, business is booming. We're hiring 2 more electricians next month. Signed a contract this week to wire 3 new apartment buildings that are going up in Dublin. Bought Stella a nice birthday present, a new multimeter set she'd been eyeing. She actually got excited about it, which is how I know I found the right person. Life's good. Really good. Not because I got revenge or showed anyone up. Just because I kept my head down, did the work, and built something real. Thanks, Reddit. You helped me through the worst time in my life. I won't forget that. My girlfriend was embarrassed by my construction worker job until she found out who I really work for. I'm in need perspective on something that's been eating at me for months with my girlfriend Amy. I own a small woodworking restoration shop. Not typical construction, I restore historic woodwork for high-end properties. Old theaters, boutique hotels, historic homes. We're talking recreating 100-year-old ceiling panels, rebuilding original staircases with period joinery, matching grain patterns on antique wainscoting. Traditional techniques most people have never heard of. Got into this at 18, apprenticed under a master craftsman for years. When he retired 5 years ago, he sold me the business for almost nothing because he trusted me to maintain his standards. The work pays well, around $200K a year. But you'd never know it to look at me. I drive a beat-up 2015 F-150 because I need the truck bed. I wear jeans and flannel covered in sawdust. I live in a house I renovated myself. My hands are calloused, I've got wood shavings in my hair, and I look exactly like someone who works with their hands. 8 months ago, I met Amy at a design showroom. She's an interior stylist for wealthy clients. Gorgeous, confident, drives a BMW, always impeccably dressed. We hit it off immediately. First few dates were great, but pretty quickly I noticed things. When she introduced me to friends, it was always, "This is Sean, he does construction work," with this apologetic tone. When I'd correct her, "I do restoration and custom millwork," she'd wave it off. Same thing, basically. Little comments started. Maybe dress up more for events with my colleagues. You might want a newer car. Once when I was explaining a project, she said, "Maybe don't go into too much detail about the wood stuff. My friends won't get it." I never corrected her full assumptions about what I do or how much I make. When people asked, I'd say, "I work with wood," or "I'm doing a project at a resort." All true. But I never elaborated because Amy seemed more comfortable when I downplayed things. I'm not the type to flex about income, but it's gotten worse. She's made comments about my potential and how I could do more with myself. Last month she suggested I transition into management because working with your hands is fine when you're young, but you need to think about your future. I nodded and changed the subject. What was I supposed to say? That I'm already successful, that I prefer hands-on work, that I keep my operation small because that's how you maintain quality. Then 2 weeks ago, Amy got invited to a fundraiser at Kensington Cove Resort, this ultra-luxury beachfront property. Owned by the Kensington family, old money, huge into historic preservation. The event is for arts and architecture fundraising. Massive opportunity for Amy. If she networks well, she could land a contract to style interiors for their new villa wing. 6-figure contract, career-defining. She asked me to come as her date. I need a +1 and it'll look good to have a boyfriend there. I said sure. That's when the instructions started. You need a good haircut before the event. We should rent you a tuxedo. Don't wear those work boots. Yesterday on the drive up she said something that really got under my skin. "Listen, just try not to embarrass me tonight, okay? These people are way above our usual level, like way above. I'm already stretching to be there. And you? Well, you're great, but you're obviously not in this world. So just smile, be polite, and let me do the talking. Don't go into detail about your work if anyone asks. Just say you're in construction and change the subject. They won't relate to the manual labor thing." I didn't say anything, just looked out the window at the coastline. Because here's what Amy doesn't know. For the past 8 months, my shop has been the primary restoration contractor for Kensington Cove Resort. The resort is about to receive historic landmark designation, and a huge part of that was my team's work. I've been in meetings with Mrs. Evelyn Kensington herself, multiple meetings, with her, her architect and city preservation board members. Long conversations about preserving architectural heritage, 1920s craftsmanship, restoration versus renovation. She invited me to a private dinner months back to thank me. I declined because we were on a brutal deadline. She laughed and said my stubborn dedication to quality over socializing was exactly why she trusted me. I never mentioned this to Amy, not because I was hiding it, but because she never asked. She heard working on a resort project, and assumed I was part of a larger crew doing framing or drywall. She never asked for details, never asked to see project photos. I let her assumptions slide because correcting them felt like bragging, and she seemed comfortable with her version of who I am. But sitting in that car, listening to her tell me not to embarrass her, to hide what I do because these people are above my level, it stung. The event is tonight. We're at the hotel getting ready. Amy keeps giving reminders. Remember, just smile and nod. Don't monopolize anyone's time. If Mrs. Kensington approaches, let me introduce you. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to let the evening play out naturally. Part of me thinks I should tell Amy before we get there. Part of me is hurt and angry she thinks so little of what I do. Am I wrong to have let this go on? Should I have corrected her months ago? Or is she being unreasonable with these class assumptions? Event starts in 2 hours. Update 1. Holy shit, Reddit. I don't even know where to start. Amy hasn't spoken to me since 2 a.m. I'm sitting in a hotel room alone and everything is screwed. We got to Kensington Cove around 7 p.m. The valet saw me getting out and his face lit up. Sean, good to see you again. That deck work is stunning. Guests have been commenting on it. Amy's head snapped toward me. Again, you've been here before. I kept it casual. Yeah, the project I mentioned. Oh, she said, confused. I didn't realize they let contractors attend events like this. We walked into the lobby. The facilities director nodded at me. The F&B manager came over to shake my hand, thank me for the finish recommendation on the restaurant Wood. Amy was getting uncomfortable. She kept trying to steer me away. Let's find the important people. You don't need to chat with the staff. The fundraiser was in the main ballroom. I could see my work everywhere, restored wall panels, ceiling beams, custom trim. It looked perfect. Amy was scanning for Mrs. Kensington. She clutched her champagne, nervous. I see her, she whispered. I'm going to work over there naturally. When we get there, let me handle the introduction. Smile, be pleasant but brief. Got it. Got it. But before we'd taken 3 steps, Mrs. Kensington spotted me first. She excused herself from her group and walked directly toward us. Amy got excited, thinking Mrs. Kensington was approaching her. Oh my God, she's coming, Amy hissed. Let me do the talking. Mrs. Kensington reached us with genuine warmth. Sean, you actually came. I was starting to think you'd avoid every social event we held. Amy's glass almost slipped. Mrs. Kensington continued. I was just telling the mayor about your deck work. She's interested in having you consult on the City Hall restoration. Here, you must meet her. She started leading me away, then noticed Amy. Oh, are you with Sean? Amy's mouth opened, but nothing came out. This is Amy, I said. We're here together. Mrs. Kensington smiled politely. Lovely to meet you. Sean is absolutely brilliant. We're so fortunate to have him. His work is museum quality. She turned back to me. Come, let me introduce you to people interested in restoration work. And just like that, I was pulled into Mrs. Kensington's orbit. Amy was left standing there looking like gravity had reversed. The next hour was a blur. Mrs. Kensington introduced me to half the room. City council members, private investors, preservation board members. People asking for my card, discussing projects, timelines, period-appropriate techniques. I was in my element. These are my people. Meanwhile, Amy was lost. She tried following conversations, but they were deeply technical. Wood grain matching, dovetail joinery, sourcing old-growth timber. She kept getting edged out of discussion circles. I saw her getting champagne from servers without saying thank you. She snapped at one who was slow with water. Several older guests noticed. Mrs. Kensington's assistant definitely saw. Around 9 p.m., Amy got close during a lull. Can we talk? Alone, I nodded. We walked onto the deck. As soon as we were semi-private, she turned on me. What the hell is going on? You know these people. You know Mrs. Kensington. What kind of project were you working on? I told you. Restoration work. My shop has been the primary contractor for the historic restoration. The ceiling, this deck, the lobby woodwork, all of it. Her face went through 5 expressions: confusion, realization, anger, embarrassment, back to anger. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you let me think you were just some regular contractor? I never said I was just anything, Amy. You assumed. You heard I work with wood and filled in the rest. You should have corrected me. You should have told me you know these people. Why does it matter? I'm the same person I was when you told me not to embarrass you when you said these people were above my level. The only difference is now you know rich people respect me." She shook her head, angry tears forming. "This is humiliating. I've been treating you like, and you just let me. You decided I wasn't good enough based on my truck and boots. You decided that without ever asking what I actually do. I told you I was working on this resort months ago. You never asked a single follow-up question because you weren't interested. You didn't want to know, you just wanted me to fit your box." We went back and forth for 20 minutes. She kept saying I should have been clearer. I kept pointing out she never asked, never showed interest until rich people validated me. Finally she said, "I need time to think about us." Okay. Don't say it like that, like you don't care. I do care, Amy, but I'm not apologizing for not volunteering information you didn't want to know. She went back inside. I stayed on the deck, running my hand over the wood I'd restored. Eventually, I went back in. Networked, collected 15 business cards, had great conversations. Amy sat at our table scrolling her phone, looking miserable. The drive back was silent. At the hotel, she went to the bathroom and wouldn't come out. I fell asleep on the couch around midnight. I woke at 2 a.m. to her standing over me. "I can't believe you did this to me. You humiliated me. I didn't do anything to you. You made me look like a shallow gold digger who doesn't know her own boyfriend. I didn't make you look like anything. But if that's what you're worried about, maybe think about that." She grabbed her stuff and left. Got an Uber at 2 a.m. Didn't say another word. Now it's morning, I'm alone. 17 new texts from potential clients, nothing from Amy. My best friend Logan called after I texted him. "She's not mad you hid something. She's mad you're successful without looking how she thinks successful should look. That's on her." Maybe he's right. I'm just tired of being made to feel less than because I work with my hands. Edit, she just texted. "We need to talk about our future." Don't even know what that means. Update 2, it's been 10 days since the fundraiser. This has gotten messier than expected. About that text, "We need to talk about our future." I called her the next day. Lasted 5 minutes before she hung up. She said I betrayed her trust by performing a fake persona and needed space to process my deception. I pointed out I never deceived anyone. She said my silence was deception. I said her assumptions weren't my responsibility. She hung up. I figured we were done. Sad but relieved. I didn't want someone who only respected me after rich people's approval, but Amy wasn't done. Last week I started hearing things through mutual friends. Amy's been telling everyone her version, and her version is creative. According to her, I pretended to be working class to make her fall for me, then deliberately humiliated her at a professional event by revealing I was secretly wealthy and well-connected. That I'm obsessed with class warfare and wanted to punish her for being ambitious. She's framing it as mind games, like I engineered the whole thing. Some of her friends believe her, but others are asking questions. "If he was working at the resort for months, how did you not know? Did you ever ask about his work?" One of her friends texted from my side. After I explained, she said, "Yeah, thought her version sounded off. She talks down about service workers constantly." Apparently this made some of Amy's friends realize she has a pattern of condescension toward people she sees as beneath her. But here's where it gets worse. 3 days ago, a potential client named Richard called. We'd met at the fundraiser. He'd asked for a proposal to restore woodwork in his bed and breakfast. He called to say he was going in a different direction. I asked if something was wrong with my proposal or references. He hesitated. "Look, I'll be straight. Someone contacted me suggesting you might be difficult to work with. Said you have personal issues that might affect professionalism." My stomach dropped. "Who told you this?" "I'd rather not say, but thought you should know it's out there." After we hung up, I made calls. Turns out Amy indeed reached out to at least 2 other people from the event. She's trying to poison the well, make me look unprofessional or unstable. One guy called me directly to ask. Said Amy contacted him on LinkedIn, concerned about my recent erratic behavior, suggesting he reconsider working with me. He thought it was weird an ex would reach out like that. I explained the situation. He said it sounded like Amy was the unprofessional one. We moved forward, but still. She's actively trying to damage my professional reputation because she's embarrassed. Yesterday, Amy's mother called. I'd met her twice before. Very concerned with appearances, always perfectly dressed, drives a Mercedes. She'd been polite but distant, clearly unimpressed. She didn't say hello, just launched in. I don't know what game you were playing with my daughter, but you've hurt her badly. I tried explaining I wasn't playing games, that I'd been honest and Amy made assumptions. You deliberately misled her about your financial situation and social status. That's manipulative and cruel. I never lied. Every time someone asked, I said I do restoration and millwork. Your daughter chose to interpret that as struggling contractor without asking questions. You should have been clearer. You knew she came from a world where these things matter. What things? Class status. Whether I know the right people. Success, Sean. She needs a partner who's established and successful. I am established and successful. I own a business. I make good money. I do quality work for prestigious clients. I'm just not showy about it, she scoffed. You drive a truck and wear flannel. You can't blame Amy for not seeing past that. I kind of lost it. Yes, I absolutely can. Looking down on someone because of their work truck and clothes is exactly the shallow, classist bullshit that makes me glad this is over, she gasped. How dare you? I'm being honest. Amy spent months treating me like an embarrassment, telling me not to talk about work, acting like I needed help fitting into better circles. Turns out I was already in those circles. I just don't need external validation. She hung up. 10 minutes later, long text from Amy saying I disrespected her mother, and this proved I was toxic and classist. The irony of Amy calling me classist is almost funny. Logan came over with beer. We sat in my workshop while I worked on oak panels. This is crazy, he said. Focus on work. Anyone who matters knows you. He's right. Most professional contacts from the fundraiser are moving forward. 3 solid leads turning into contracts. Mrs. Kensington sent a kind email saying she'd heard some nonsense circulating, but anyone who knew my work would never question my professionalism. She also mentioned Amy was removed from villa contract consideration, not because of me, but because staff reported her rudeness to service workers. How people treat our staff reflects their character, Mrs. Kensington wrote. So Amy lost that opportunity from her own actions. I feel somewhat bad, but can't muster much sympathy when consequences are self-inflicted. I know more fallout is coming, but I'm tired of engaging. Final update. This is the final update. What happened yesterday feels like the definitive end. It's been 3 weeks since my last update. Things had mostly calmed down. Amy stopped the sabotage campaign, probably because it wasn't working and made her look worse. I'd been focusing on work. The theater restoration project has been amazing. We're restoring a 1930s downtown theater closed since the 80s. This week they brought in an acoustical architect for sound system design. Her name's Maya, 31, focused intensity when she talks about sound waves and acoustics. Our first interaction was an argument, actually funny in retrospect. She wanted to run wiring through original mahogany paneling. I said absolutely not. We could route it differently. She said her way was simpler. I said I didn't care. We weren't cutting 1930s mahogany that survived this long. We went back and forth 20 minutes until the GC suggested we each submit plans. I spent that evening designing a route that preserved the paneling. More complicated, custom brackets, but would work perfectly. Sent the plans at 11 p.m. Next morning, Maya showed up while I worked on the stage floor. This is really clever, she said, holding up her phone with my plans. Can you show me how these brackets mount without impacting wall integrity? We spent an hour on technical details. She asked about every joint, measurement, vibration transfer. She wanted to understand the craftsmanship, not just whether it served her purpose. We got coffee after. Talked 2 hours about buildings we loved, botched restoration projects, doing work that lasts. It was easy. Natural, she got it. We'd gotten coffee 3 more times. Yesterday she asked to see my workshop and house. She showed up at 10 a.m., spent 3 hours examining everything in my workshop. At my house, she noticed the beam work immediately. Studied different joints, how I'd preserved patina while reinforcing structure. This is incredible, you did this yourself. Yeah, 6 months of evenings and weekends. It must kill you seeing historic buildings demolished instead of restored. It really does. That's when it hit me how different this felt. Maya wasn't impressed by me knowing rich people. She was interested in the actual work, the craftsmanship, the philosophy. Yesterday, we were in my workshop when I heard a car outside. Through the window, Amy's BMW. I went outside. Amy was getting out dressed for a meeting, heels and designer outfit. Sean, we need to talk. Amy, what are you doing here? I've been thinking about everything about us. I think I reacted badly and I want to talk about trying again. I stared. You spent a month telling people I'm manipulative. You called my clients to sabotage my work. Your mother lectured me. And now you want to try again. I was hurt and embarrassed. I lashed out, but I've had time to think. We were actually good together. I want to understand you now. You didn't want to understand me. You wanted me to be different. That's not fair. I was trying to help you reach your potential. I was already at my potential. I don't want to dress better or get a nicer car. I like hands-on work. I like my truck. I like my flannel. I just needed to not be with someone who looked down on all that. Her expression hardened. So you're throwing away what we had. What we had was you being embarrassed until rich people respected me. That's not a relationship, that's wanting a trophy boyfriend. She noticed Maya in the doorway. Who's that? A colleague, we're working together. A colleague, right, so you've already moved on. Nothing's going on. We're friends. Even if we aren't, it's not your business. Maya stepped out. Hey, I'll give you 2 privacy. No, don't leave on my account, Amy said with false sweetness. I'm sure Sean told you what a terrible snob I am. Actually, he hasn't talked about you much, Maya said calmly. But I heard about someone interfering with his professional relationships. That was you, Amy flushed. That's none of your business. You're right. But I work in the same circles. People talk. What you did was unprofessional, makes you look unstable. You don't even know me. I know you showed up uninvited to demand someone take you back. I know you tried damaging their reputation. That's enough. Amy looked at me. This is who you're choosing. I'm not choosing anyone, I'm just not choosing you. She stood there deciding whether to keep fighting, finally walked to her car. Before getting in, she turned back. You know what? I deserve someone better, someone who doesn't make me guess who they really are. I never made you guess, I said quietly. You just never wanted to see. She drove off. Well, Maya said, that was intense. Sorry you got dragged in. Don't be. What she did professionally was way out of line. People in our industry know. It's not reflecting well on her. We went back to the workshop. Talked about the theater project, other buildings we wanted to save. Ordered pizza, kept talking. Conversation shifted to personal stuff. Can I ask something? Maya said. Sure. Does it happen a lot, people not getting why restoration work matters? Sometimes. A lot of people think old buildings should just be torn down. They don't understand these structures hold history, craftsmanship, techniques we've lost. That's exactly how I feel about acoustics. Old theaters were designed by people who understood sound intuitively. When we rip those apart without understanding what we're destroying, we lose something irreplaceable. Exactly, you get it, she smiled. I do, and for what it's worth, what you do is really important. Not because it's prestigious, but because it matters. We've got dinner plans this weekend. At a Mexican place near the theater she loves. The contrast with Amy couldn't be starker. Amy wanted me different. Maya's interested in exactly who I am. I heard Amy returned the BMW, moved to a cheaper apartment, is rebuilding her business with modest clients. Don't feel responsible. She made her choices. Life is really good. Doing work I love with people who respect it for the right reasons. Thanks for following this, Reddit. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got corbels to carve and a theater to restore.